Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome to the improved, is it improved? Streaming. And what I mean by that is it is Monday, December 21st, excuse me, I almost said 22nd, December 21st, 2015, and this is the very first day that I'm doing earlier streaming. So for those of you who were not aware or didn't know this was coming, yes, as of now, starting today, every single day that I live stream, unless there's some kind of a weird circumstance, I'm going to be streaming earlier. 1 hour earlier. I used to stream between 12:30 and 1 p.m. Pacific time, and usually get started around 1 to 1:15 Pacific time. As of today, I am now going to be doing it early. And the reason for that, twofold. Number one, because people have been asking for earlier streams. A lot of people have said it makes more sense to stream earlier on because when I stream later, it's overnight, early morning in places like Europe. And so those kind of viewers cannot never tune into those live streams. And people have expressed kind of disappointment that they cannot turn into the streams because of the timing of my streams. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, it's going to be because the fact that I, very shortly, this year, in 2016 coming up, I'm only going to be doing one gameplay stream a day. With a few exceptions, there'll be a few days when there will actually be full days of gameplay for like a launch day for a game or something like that. But there are these upcoming changes coming up, and yes, ladies and gents, it is true. I will only be streaming once a day, one gameplay session a day. And since I am going to be doing that, I'm going to be making the gameplay sessions longer. So we're starting right now, but I'm going to be playing till 4 p.m. So it's going to be 4 hours of gameplay here on the stream versus it used to only be, 2 to 3 hours of gameplay on the stream. All right. So that's the change, is that's going to be a little bit more gameplay every day. But I'm only going to be doing one session of gameplay a day with a few exceptions for game launches and stuff like that. Now, in particular, this week, if you didn't see the weekend preview yet from last night, I strongly recommend that you go check it out because this week is a very weird week. Not to say that's a bad thing, it's a good thing because it's a holiday week. I'm going to be doing all kinds of special stuff. I'm going to be working on the Christmas special. I'm going to be working on the year-end other series. Okay, including the most disappointing games of the year, including the best and worst things that happened to DSPGaming this year, including the funniest moments of the year, which, by the way, tonight I'm going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, setting up that poll so that everyone can begin to vote on what they thought were the funniest moments of the year. Okay, that'll be fun. So there's a lot of year-end series coming. There's about 5 different series I'm going to be doing this year. Game of the Year Awards, of course, is one of them. And so I need to get to work on that. And since I need to get to work on that, I need to take time out to work on it. So this week, as of today, there will be nothing at night. Normally I would maybe do a second gameplay session or a second stream. I'm going to be working on the year-end series. And you're going to begin to see those series come out this Friday with the Christmas special. Because I will be releasing a Christmas special this Friday. I did not do one last year because my parents were visiting, and I just didn't have time to work on it because they were here. But this year, I'm kind of getting back to the normal kind of year-end schedule stuff, where I'll be focusing on, Christmas special, and leading right into the most disappointing games of the year, leading into the DSPGaming stuff, yada, yada, yada. And that'll take us into the first couple of weeks of January, where I'll be juggling all of the year-end stuff with ongoing gameplay. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about this week because, like I said, I explained all of this last night in the weekend preview in a lot of detail. So if you want to know what's going on this week, certainly please check out the weekend preview. It is live over on the King of Hate vlogs. Okay, so please go check that out. And, hopefully you'll get up to speed on everything that's going on this week. All right? So that's number one. Number two, I know I'm streaming an hour early. Unfortunately, it looks like no mods have shown up. And unfortunately, what this is going to be has to be a kind of a growing pain, learning curve, getting used to change kind of a thing. I talked to the mods yesterday, and they agreed that they would be here, and they're not. So it is what it is. What I'm going to do is before I get started with gameplay, I will personally try to voice people here who I see. In fact, right now, as I'm talking, hold on, I'll voice a few people and, in the stream chat. But obviously, when I'm playing the game, I can't be constantly stopping to voice people. So once I get started playing, whoever's voiced is voiced, and whoever isn't voiced, and I can't change that. I certainly can't do anything about it. Once a mod shows up to actually jump in and start voicing and modding, that's great. But, the mods are volunteers. The mods are here to watch the stream primarily and also to mod kind of secondarily. They do it of their own, volition, their own free will. And I certainly am not going to be angry or hold anything to them, especially this week in particular. It's a holiday freaking week. Everyone's doing holiday-themed stuff. Everyone is busy. And so, apologies this week if you don't see mods around, if the chat's a little out of control and stuff like that. Understand, this is a special thing. It's not a normal situation. Next year, once we hit January, once we start playing new games, and the new releases are coming out, and we're doing all that, and we get back into a normal schedule that's consistent, then, hopefully, things will, get adjusted and get leveled out, and we won't have any issues. With moderation and chat and stuff like that. But right now, I'm quite honestly, it's pretty much my last concern. All I'm worried about is being able to get through all the stuff this week. So now let's get on that topic. This week's gameplay, okay, is focused on today. We're going to try to finish up the WWE 2K16 career mode run. And what I mean by that is, do I think that I'm going to beat it? Absolutely not. From what I'm to understand, the career mode is insanely long. Like, if you were to play through the whole thing, it could take you upwards of, 50 to 60 gameplay hours. Which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, it's crazy long. And that's cool, except for the fact that a lot of that is repetitive and boring grinding. And the bottom line is, it was improved from last year's My Career Mode, absolutely. But it's still not anywhere near as being as good as it should be. It's not. It just isn't. It's really annoying that you have to do these boring, repetitive jobber matches all the time, that you get into these pointless feuds that really aren't interesting with people you don't care about, that it takes so freaking long to get a title shot. I mean, at this point in this My Career Mode, I came out of NXT and joined mainstream WWE TV and went after a title shot for the Intercontinental title. It's been 10 plus hours of gameplay, and I'm still only number 4 in the rankings for the Intercontinental title. It's insanity. It's stupid. It's just not well designed. And I'll be honest, I'm just not having fun with it anymore. Right now, the reason that we're doing this today is because I'm finally in an interesting plot line for WrestleMania where I'm going to be teaming up with Sting against the Authority in a WrestleMania match. That'll be fun. That's what we're going to be starting the gameplay with today, okay? And then after that, I'm going to see what happens. If it's a bunch of more jobber shit and it's boring as hell, I'll give it maybe an hour, and if it doesn't get any better, then that's it. That'll be it for the My Career Mode for WWE, because I'm just not. I have other stuff to do. I'm working on Fallout 4, I'm working on Rise of the Tomb Raider, I'm working on Yakuza 5, I've got other games I want to play, and I don't have time to waste on boring jobber matches that the game just forces you to do. So, if that's what it is what it is. We may have a longer session if it's not that and I get into another interesting plot line, or it may be a shorter session if it ends up being all jobber stuff, okay? Now, that's going to be the start of the stream. Keep in mind, this is an extended, longer stream. So, once we finish with WWE, I'm going to take a break. And when I take the break, I'm going to tweet out and say, okay, everyone, we're switching over from WWE to Fallout 4. Okay? So, then I'm going to be doing some Fallout 4. Now, for those of you who aren't caught up on Fallout 4 yet, shame on you. Alright, I'm kidding. No shame on you. But it's an incredibly long playthrough. So I understand if you're certainly not caught up yet. At this point, I'm almost up to part 200. Yeah, and that's the truth. I'm going to go over 200 parts, and it may end up being the longest playthrough I've ever done. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to tally up how long it actually is once I finish the game, right? But we're going to jump into Fallout 4 right into the end game, because I'm right at the precipice of doing some of the endings for the factions. So I'm going to probably go with one faction, go through their plot line, and then switch over and reload from a previous save into another plot line. And I'm thinking between today, tomorrow, and possibly Wednesday if we need it, I should be wrapping up Fallout 4. So that's cool because it's been a long-ass journey. I mean, we started in early November. Here we are in late December. I've done possibly everything that's interesting to do in the freaking game. Fought every rare monster and boss. Got a lot of the great weapons. Got every bobblehead. So now I think I'm really ready to finish off the playthrough in grand fashion by doing all the different endings. Okay? So that's going to be the second half of our stream today. Like I said, there will be a break where I'll announce on Twitter that we're switching over. So right now, if you're watching the stream, you're like, I don't really care about WWE, but I care about Fallout. You might not want to, tune in for now, but give it an hour or two, and I'll tweet and check out, at They Call Me DSP. That's how you'll know when I'm switching over. Okay? So, outside of that, it's going to be a fun gameplay stream. Later tonight, I'm doing a ton of stuff. I'm actually paying my bills tonight. I'm working on the year-end series tonight. I'm going to try to set up the funniest moments polling tonight so you can begin to vote on what they think the funniest moments of the year were. I got a lot of work to do tonight, which is why, even though I'm doing a 4-hour stream now, later tonight it's going to be a ton of work offline. And, I mean, it's worth it. I have a lot of fun doing it. Don't get me wrong. I really do enjoy the year-end stuff. But it is certainly a lot of work to put together. And I hope that you guys will check out the year-end videos once they start being released later this week, because it is a ton of time and effort to get this stuff together and work on it. So that's pretty much it for the pre-stream. I don't have much else to say. I'm not expecting, I'll be honest with everyone, I've said this all week, I'll say it again, I'm not expecting a lot of people this week for streaming. I'm just not. Because number one, it's a holiday week, right? Everyone's busy, off doing, it's one of two situations. Either your kids are off of school, right? You're off school, you're having fun, you're doing stuff with your family, or it's the opposite. If you're older, you probably have like double work this week. A lot of people have that, like double work, because it's a holiday week, especially retail. If you work in retail or a restaurant industry right now, you're probably getting your ass kicked at work because of the doubling down. And trust me, I've been there. I worked a mall job for 5 years, and then I worked at Best Buy, and then I worked at Circus City. I worked at all these jobs where I know what it's like around this time of year. So chances are most people are busy with other stuff. They're not going to be joining the streams every day, and especially with the stream starting an hour early, you might not be able to join them. I'm cool with that. I really don't care what the viewership is this week. I'm more happy just to get through the stuff and have fun playing games. That's all I really care about, honestly. All right. So thank you for being here, those of you who are. The only real final thing I have to say is, obviously you guys know this, but I'll be plugging it at least once a day. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. This month's goal, if we hit the goal, is a Rockathon 2.0, where I'm going to be doing Rock Band 4 again. People really loved when I did the marathon in November, so it'll come back in late January if we hit the goal this month. The difference here is that if you are a $5 patron this month, you're going to get premium forum access at thekingofhate.com, which will allow you to nominate the songs you want to see me sing and play in this Rockathon. Last Rockathon, the one major complaint I got, there was no method to do that. It was just people kind of spamming stream chat, and it didn't work because stream chat's minutes delayed, and it just was not a good interface for me to be taking feedback. Now I'll be able to do that via the forums way ahead of time. So, check it out at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Your pledges allow me to keep doing this full time, especially in this uncertain year that's coming, where I just had a contract renegotiation with Machinima. I have no idea what kind of money I'm going to be making in the month of starting next month. I really have no idea what kind of money I'm going to be making this whole year, and it's uncertain, and I'll be honest, I'm nervous, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep putting out videos and streams for you guys, so that I can, hopefully have a viewer base build up that will be watching not only my ongoing stuff like I've always done, but the new stuff that I'm going to be putting out come January, the increased vlogging and the edited videos. But your support right now means more than ever, because going into this uncertain, not knowing what the hell's going to happen, your support means more. And of course, if you want to see this Rockathon, now is the month, obviously, to pledge to Patreon. Keep in mind, it's not just about the Rockathon. You also get personal perks like text shoutouts, verbal thank yous, getting your questions answered on Ask the King, and even getting a private Q&A video made. So there's some pretty cool perks. But people who've gotten private Q&A videos loved them. Like, I've gotten some awesome feedback from people saying, thank you so much. That was, like, way better than we expected. And, I really do. I go above and beyond with those private videos to make sure that not only do I answer your question, but I try to give you some, something from me. I tell you about myself. I relate myself to your question, and I try to really make it so that it's a good perk. Because unlike other people who do Patreon, I can't really do this stuff. Like, a lot of people do, a private stream, a private video. And I don't do that stuff because I want my stuff to be public. It's always been public and free. You know what I mean? I don't want to hide events and things that I do behind being a paid patron. You know, but for those who can actually afford to help support my efforts to continue doing this full time, it's much appreciated, and you know, I do what I can with those personal perks to make you happy. All right. So that is it, everyone. Thank you. I'm going to get started now with WWE. I thank you for being here on the stream, and let's begin. Cool.